What's going on, everybody? My name's GiraffeAnatomy, and today I'm coming at you with another Smite Quick God Guide. Today, the goddess that we will be looking at is Awilix, the goddess of the moon. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go over her abilities, do a nice high-level overview, explain to you what each one of them does, and then kind of dive a little bit into how you can combo them together and play her effectively in her role. From there, we'll talk about maybe like a few things that you can build on her. So hopefully by the end of this video, the goal is you can take her into an arena game, Joust, Slash, or Conquest, and be able to use her effectively. So yeah. Oh, she's got a little action there. Awilix, damn girl, cover those feet. Without further ado, let's get into jungle practice. And we will talk about Awilix. So Awilix is defined as an assassin in Smite. What that means is she is a short-ranged, when it comes to her basic attacks, a short-ranged physical damage dealing character. Awilix shines in the jungle the most. That's her main and primary role as an assassin. The way her kit operates, the way her passive works, she really shines the best. Together we can win. I just like to let him finish talking before I continue here. Basically, she shines the best, like ganking people, surprise attacking them. The way her kit operates, the way it works is very assassin oriented. Like, she really is the definition of an assassin, right? She's basically coming out of nowhere, doing a lot of damage to somebody, killing them really fast, and then getting out of the team fight. So what I'll do, I'll level everything to 20 here, and then we'll go over her abilities, and we'll start with her passive, right? So Awilix's passive is called Initiative. If Awilix has not taken or dealt damage in the last 5 seconds, and she strikes an enemy first, she increases her physical power for a short duration. So the way you can tell if you have initiative, first of all, you'll see the buff here, first strike. This lets you know, hey, you haven't dealt or taken damage in the last 5 seconds. So your next attack basically will do more damage, and you'll have that power increase for 30% for 2.5 seconds, right? You can also tell over here if her spear is lit up. It'll let you know, hey, you have the first strike initiative. So I'll show you what this looks like. When you hit it, you'll see first initiative start counting down, right? And then after the 2.5 seconds, it goes away. So for those 2.5 seconds, you have that 30% increased power, right? Now, if you keep attacking people, it's not going to light back up because you're doing damage. Or if you're taking damage, it's not going to light back up, right? But if you wait 5 seconds, you'll see this light back up. You have first initiative again. So the next time that you strike an enemy first, you will get that 30% increase of physical power for 2.5 seconds. That's the basics of initiative. And you can see really quick when I do my first hit here, 57, right? When initiative goes away, 44. That's the difference in power, right? Between the two. 57, 42, 71. Now that it's gone, 44, 33, 54, right? So initiative really gives you that nice power boost when you are the one to attack first. So that is basically why Awilix is such a good assassin. She's the one initiating, she's the one ganking, coming out from the jungle, getting into lane, attacking an enemy. She'll get that power boost. You're good to go. So let's get into her abilities now that we've talked about her passive. Her first ability is Summon Suku. Awilix mounts her Panther, Suku, gaining movement speed but decreasing strafe speed. Awilix may leap off Suku to deal damage to all enemies in the target area. Canceling this ability before leaping will not trigger its cooldown. That's a really cool thing. I'll show you in a second. Awilix, when you press her 1, hops on her Panther, and she's good to go. You can stay on it indefinitely. And then when it comes to the movement speed, you are getting an increased movement speed when going forward. So just pressing W on your keyboard. And when you strafe, it's capped at 275. It doesn't matter how fast you are. 515, even if you build a bunch of movement speed on her, she will only ever strafe this fast. This is not very good to strafe on, right? Back and forth, like left and right. You can get caught out a lot if you use this. So when you're using Suku, try to just hold W and use your mouse key to move like where you need to move, right? If you're coming up on an enemy and you see danger, don't sort of turn left and right. Just kind of like, just turn around, right? Turn around with your mouse. This will be the fastest way to move with Suku. You basically just hold W key and you're moving and turning with your mouse versus the A and D keys, right? If you need to strafe, you can always get off of Suku. If you right click, it will not go on cooldown. So you can get back on and right click, get back on, right click. You can do this forever, right? So if you do find something, you can get off real quick. If you need to strafe and before you like use an ability or something, then you can get back on Suku. You know, you can get off. Like, make sure you're using the cancellation of her ability and the non cooldown to your advantage here, because strafing with Suku isn't very good. So if you do need to strafe or something, or you're jockeying with somebody, might be a good idea to get off her. Then you can get on Suku and pounce if you want, right? You can get back on and use that that damaging ability. So that is what it looks like when you are on Suku and you want to do the damage. It'll be in that circle. That's where you can leap to. That's where it will do the damage to the enemy. And just really quick, this can go over walls, so you can basically leap over walls. This makes Awilix a really great jungling character because she not only is gaining movement speed from Suku, so she can get from camp to camp faster, but she can also leap over some walls to get to other camps faster, farm really effectively. One tip just on using her one to farm: when you use it, right, it goes on cooldown. But because it gives you such a good movement speed in the jungle, you can actually use it just to traverse the jungle really fast. Get to a camp, right click so it doesn't go on cooldown, clear the camp the way you need to. Okay, camp's cleared. All right, get back on Suku. Go to the next camp, right? Right click so you don't have the cooldown. Just go clear the camp, and then you can get back on Suku, right? You can use Suku's one to initiate the jump on the camp to clear it, right? Because it will do a ton of damage, and then you can start attacking and doing the camp and stuff. But yeah, that's just like a way you can use her Suku very effectively. It makes her a really mobile god. It lets her get to a lot of places really quick in Conquest, and it's really effective to use. So let's talk about Awilix's 2. So Awilix's 2 is Feather Step. Awilix flips over the last enemy she hit within 1.5 seconds, rooting, crippling, and dealing damage as she passes over them. The damage dealt is modified based on the next attack in Awilix's basic attack progression. If the next attack is her third attack, then she also hits all targets in the area around her. So this is a great ability. It might be confusing at first, especially for newer players, but I will tell you how to use Feather Step as effectively as possible here. First of all, you can't use it at all when you haven't hit a god. You need to hit a god to use it. That also means abilities, right? But it also means basic attacks. So you can either basic attack and then use it, see how it's not crossed out anymore, or you can use Suku's Panther, hit him, and then you can use it. So that's what Feather Step looks like when you use it. You leap over your enemy, you kind of stab them once, and you flip over, right? So to use her second ability, you have to have damaged the enemy and be near them enough to flip over. Now there is like a little bit of a range on this. You can actually use it it doesn't have to be like right up in their face, but you can like basic attack somebody and flip over them even if they're creating a little bit of distance from you. So there's a little bit of leeway. It doesn't tell you exactly how far away it is, but you can kind of get used to how far away it is just by doing something like this. That's pretty far away to be able to leap back to them and stay on them. So it really allows Awilix to stay on a target. If you're using it effectively and you are attacking here and they're starting to kind of maybe get a little bit away from you, right? Use this to reposition, get in front of them. Now you're basic attacking them again, right? Now the other most important thing about this, if you're looking at the bottom, you see the damage, right? It goes from 50 at the first level to 190 when it's fully maxed. Right underneath that, you see attack progression bonus. 1x, 1.5x, 2x. What does that mean? That means in your attack progression, most gods have an attack progression. When you attack, Awilix specifically has like 3 attacks and then she resets. So if you're clicking, if you're just holding down left click, 1, 2, 3, then she resets her attack progression. So what does this mean, right? If you remember when I was attacking somebody, 57, 42, 71. Why are those numbers different? It's because each one's a different one in her attack progression. So her first attack, right? Her first one is the 57, her second one's the 42, and 71 is her third. Her third attack does the most damage in that progression, right? And then it coincides with this feather step. If you use this feather step on what would have been the third attack, the 71, it does 2 times bonus damage, right? So you can use this ability at any point after you've attacked somebody. So I can attack them once, and I can use feather step. That's great, but you're not going to get the most effective damage out of this ability. You can attack once and then twice, and you see this big circle there that lights up. That means you've now engaged feather steps 2 times attack progression bonus, right? So what that means is you will do the more damage dealt, and you will do the AoE damage to anybody within that circle. So when you use this ability, basically, too long didn't read, right? Internally, you want to attack twice, then use the ability, right? Anytime you're attacking somebody before you use feather step, try to attack twice with Awilix. Do 1, 2, then press your 2, right? That's how you want to use it. You want to come up to somebody, you want to hit them 1, 2, then use the ability. That's when you will get the most damage out of it. That's when you will do the AoE damage. So whatever you're doing, if you're coming in from Suku and you hit somebody, right? You hit them 1, 2, 3, right? It doesn't count off of, like, it's off of the basics, right? It's not off of Suku landing. If you land on Suku and then you use this, you're just going to get the 1x. If you attack once and then use it, that's the 2, or that's the 1.5x. Then if you attack twice and then you use it, that's the 3, right? So there is a way to get the 1x, and the way to get the 1x is you don't basic attack, you actually initiate with something like Suku, then you use feather step, that's the 1x on it. The 1.5x is 1 basic attack and then you use it, right? And then the most effective way to use it is anytime you're dealing with somebody, 1, 2, use your 2. That's how you're always going to do it. So kind of keep that internally in your mind when you're playing Awilix. And then you're also getting the root and cripple out of it, right? So it's going to really hamper somebody. They're not going to be able to be running around during that. You cripple them. So as you're flipping over them, they kind of have to stay in place, right? So you do 1, 2, cripple. They're stuck there for that little second as you're flipping over them. Really helps you reposition. So yeah, that's the basics of her 2. Like I said, the simple way is to always remember, get 2 basic attacks in before you use it. It's the most effective way to use it there. Let's talk about Awilix's 3. Moonlight Charge. Suku comes to Awilix's aid, rushing forward and damaging all enemies. If hit from the side or behind, enemies are also knocked up into the air. So this is what the ability looks like. It basically just looks like a line. If you're in front of them and you hit them, it's just going to do damage to them, right? It's kind of like a poke ability when you're doing it like that. But if you are able to get behind an enemy or even on the side, it ends up knocking them up. See how they're knocking up? And this will come into play when you're using Awilix's ultimate. We'll talk about that in a second here. But basically, Moonlight Charge is a good setup for her ultimate. You can also use it in conjunction with anything else. So like her 2, right? You can use her 3 and then her 2. It will allow you to utilize that ability as well. It also gives you maybe a free basic attack or 2, like we were talking about. So you want to get those 2 basic attacks in before you use your 2. Well, if you knock somebody up, you can still auto attack them while they're being knocked up. So it can give you a free hit or 2 in there. If you see, I can like basic 3, basic. While he's up in the air, you saw that I hit him, and as he was coming down, I hit him too. So during that time, you can get like an extra basic attack or 2 in there when you're using your 3. So you can use it even close range, right? It's a good way to just keep doing damage to them and having them being stuck in a location. So you can be basicing them 2 right after you hit them with the 2 abilities. You can use your 2 to flip over them, reposition, keep attacking. So it's really great when you're just auto attacking. You can just throw your 3 out. You're never really gonna miss if you're like really up close and you're autoing, right? If you're just auto attacking somebody, right? Then you use your 2. It's a lot of damage, and it's a lot of time that that person's stuck there taking your basic attack damages. So really quick, just with these 3 abilities, I'm going to show you kind of how to combo between them. I would save Suku's, like the 1 when you're riding her to try and get out of most situations, but you can engage with her. So with Suku, you can engage. If you engage, you can engage with her. 1, 2. You can knock them up. 1, 2. Get that basic attack damage, right? You can like combo like that with them. You can save Suku to try and escape, right? So one thing we talked about was to use Suku to you don't really have to leap on him, so you can use it just to come up here, use the 3, 1, 2, use your 2, right? You're doing this, and then okay, now I'm in danger. I'm gonna use Suku. I'm gonna get away. So sometimes it's good to keep your 1, because this is your escape, this is your movement speed ability, right? So using Suku like later in a team fight to try and get out after an engagement is really good. This is why sometimes you, or almost always on jungles, you want to buy Blink, because what you can do with Blink is you can save, you can be on Suku, right? And then you can disconnect, Blink, 1, 2. I'm going to Feather Step, reposition myself, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to knock him up, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I'm in danger. I'm going to get on Suku. I'm going to leap away. I've now distanced myself between me and the enemy. I'm able to get out of a situation, right? That's kind of how you want to use it. If you are aggressive or if you really just want to kill the person, you can use Suku to do that, but I would try and keep Suku as your escape tool. What you can do instead is try to engage with your 3, and if you get behind or right behind an enemy or on the side of them, and you use this, for that second or 2 that they're knocked up, you're able to close that gap and start attacking them, right? So you can start your engagements with your 3 if you do it correctly. If you're coming in to gank somebody and they're not paying attention, you can come in like this and start doing this, right? And like I said before, with your 3 and your 2, you can actually Feather Step to them and close that gap even faster. So you can actually use this, and I'll show you. See how far Awilix leaped with her 2? You can use that to close the gap. So you can start most combos with like a 3 and a 2 and get up close to people and start doing the auto attack damage that you need, right? So one more time, I'll just show you. I'm auto attacking. They already took a lot of damage with between Feather Step and this. Now they're taking my autos, you know, and you can still use Suku to then run away and escape if you need to, right? Jump over walls, all those sorts of things with them. So let's talk about Awilix's ultimate. So those were her first 3 abilities. Let's talk about the ultimate attack. Gravity Surge. The power of the moon is in your hands. Awilix calls upon the power of the moon, immediately pulling to her the closest enemy god she is facing that is either leaping or knocked up into the air. The target god takes damage when they land. Awilix is then bathed in moonlight, gaining bonus attack speed and physical power, along with protections against roots, slows, and knockbacks for 6 seconds. This is awesome. This is all you want in an auto attack jungler, because nobody can mess with you during these 6 seconds. You win a lot of team fights. You definitely win a lot of 1v1s with it when it's up. But the most important thing to recognize is pulling enemies that are leaping or knocked up in the air. This not only is from your abilities, but any of your teammates' abilities or their own abilities. If anybody's in the air, she can use Moonlight Surge at that time. Doesn't matter if you made them go into the air. Doesn't matter if Geb on your team knocked them up. It doesn't matter if it's a Neith backflipping on her own. You will be able to pull them, right? And it's within 75 units, which is basically like a full ranged auto away. So it's about like a distance like this that you can pull them from. And I'm going to show you this with Neith real quick. So with Neith, when she does her backflip, you can pull her to you. So I'm just going to attack her a little bit here, right? Throw my Suku at her, do a Feather Step. Come on, Neith, backflip. I know you got it in you. What you got, girl? What you got, girl? Man, Neith really... Oh, there she is. See how I used it to pull her back to me? That was her ultimate. Took a while. Neith really didn't feel like backflipping. Maybe she only does it at a certain health percentage or something. But that was her ultimate, right? Anybody that's in the air, you can pull her to you. And you saw how Neith was pretty far away, and I was still able to pull her to me. So real quick, the way you can do this yourself, right? You're like, so how do I get them knocked up consistently? Well, you can use Suku with your 3 to do that, right? The Moonlight Charge. You need to hit them on the side or the back to do it, but if you do it, you can pull them to you. So watch, when Odin turns around and I use Suku, I can then use my ult. Now they're here with me, right? I can use my 2 to then catch back up. And look at the stim. When I'm glowing the whole time, that's when I'm getting all of those bonuses. The bonus attack speed, 70%. That's crazy. More physical power, right? I'm getting 60 extra physical power. You have a crazy good stim during this time frame with her, right? And with your first strike, you're getting even more bonus if you're the one to engage with that. So really quick, I also wanted to show you, you can pull people through walls. First of all, Suku also goes through walls to knock up. So I'll show you, right? I still hit him and knocked him up through the wall with Moonlight Charge, right? So you can also utilize this with your ultimate. Look, now he's on this side of the wall, right? So you can hit people through walls and pull them to you through a wall, right? With your 3 and your ultimate combo. So sometimes you can, you know, kind of be lurking in a fight on the other side of a wall or over something. And as long as you have vision, right, you can buy a ward, you can place it so you can see them a little bit easier. You just hit them and then you can ult them back to you, start doing a ton of damage, separate them from the fight. Now you've isolated them. You're in a 1v1 situation with them. You're able to delete a character from the enemy team, and now you can go and join your team in the team fight, and it's a 4v5, right? So that's a way to really utilize this. And like I said before, normally when you get your ultimate involved, you're going to want to try something where either wait for one of your team to knock up or one of them to jump and ult them. And then if you're able to do that, use your feather step to sort of like re-engage. So you can use your 3, ultimate, attack. When they're running away, use your feather step to reposition, get them closer, right? And just be attacking them as much as you can. And you'll melt most people with a combo like that with these abilities, right? So those are the basics of her abilities. Really, really good assassin. Very great at 1v1ing people. Really good mobility with Suku. Like I said, you can right-click it to go on cooldown. You don't always have to use it. You can just use it to get around the map really fast and jungle farm to your heart's content. But yeah, those are the basics on how to use her abilities. Like I said, her feather step, try and do 1-2, like internally 1-2, then use her feather step when you can, right? You don't have to, but that's how you're going to get the most effectiveness out of it. You'll get that AoE damage, you'll get that extra damage from that too. Use your Suku to knock up just as you're autoing as well when you get the chance. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's talk a little bit about some builds that she utilizes very well. Awilix can actually use either Eye of the Jungle or Bumba's Dagger. Bumba's Dagger, you're basically going to want to upgrade. You can upgrade to Bumba's Hammer or Bumba's Spear. You'll be getting cooldown for your abilities, which is great. Bumba's Hammer, obviously, you're doing basic attack, dealing true damage, which is really good on her. And you'll have your abilities up more often to be able to keep comboing and feather stepping. Eye of the Jungle is good because you can get some attack speed. She likes attack speed, and then going Protector of the Jungle later if you're trying to fight inside the jungle, or Seer of the Jungle if you want to do those objectives like the jungle bosses like Gold Fury or Fire Giant. That's a really good one too. So you can do something like Bumba's Dagger. You're going to want to get something like Jotun's as soon as possible because you want her abilities to be down. Although she likes attack speed, she does like to have Feather Step up as much as possible to be able to do that repositioning and damage, right? So you basically want to be able to try and combo as often as possible. Feather Step will help you reposition really well in those team fights. So getting something like Jotun's and then a Hydra's as well. You're basically basic attacking in conjunction with your abilities, and Hydra's passive goes really well with that. Basically, for 8 seconds after using an ability, your next basic attack will deal an additional 35% damage. Abilities that function like basic attacks do not benefit from this, right? So when you do something like this, when you just attack and then you do this, your next basic attack is doing a huge amount of damage, that 200 some damage, right? Even using your 3 and then your basic attack, right? you're still proccing Hydras on this, right? So this is just a really great tool to proc more damage, right? And you're getting cooldown and you're getting penetration. So Jotuns and Hydras are pretty key items for her. Other things that you can get, like Dominance is pretty good just because she has the basic attacks. You'll probably get Transcendence as well. If you're building like a jungle build, you can get like a Jotun's Transcendence or Transcendence Jotun's sort of thing. Hydras. Transcendence will just give her more mana, make her more powerful, right? Once you stack it and everything like that, you're basically getting another 10% cooldown as well. So just between these three items, you have full cooldown between Jotuns, Hydras, Transcendence. You can do something like a Dominance 2, getting on your basic attack even more penetration, right? And then you can do something like attack speed for your last item, or Heartseeker, right? It depends on kind of how you're going, but she does like to build attack speed. You can also build something like a Bloodforge on her. So this is more like very damaging ability based sort of build on her. So if I could do something like this, look at some of these numbers she's pumping out, man. You can jump on Suku, jump on him again, do this again. I'm feather stepped again at this point. I can knock them up with this, right? By the time I'm done with this and they start getting away, I can feather step again, get on Suku, jump on them. I'm gonna knock them up, use my ultimate. There we go. Look at that. Just a ton of damage that you can use on him with a build like this. And then you're getting a lot of pen with your basic attacks here. You're getting the extra Hydra procs. With Transcendence, you're getting a lot of cooldown, a lot of mana, so you can use your abilities over and over again. So yeah, things like Bloodforge can round this out. Like I said, you could get some, like one of the blade trees. If you're having a hard time sticking to somebody, you could get a Hasten Katana. But if you know how to use her abilities right, you should be able to manipulate them so you're always able to basic attack them, so it's fine. Something like a Serrated Edge could be good on her, but it doesn't really increase your basic attack damage or anything like that. It's just giving you, based on her abilities being down, you're getting stacks of cruelty. I like having my 1-up on her so it doesn't synergize as well on her. But you could do more attack speed items, like I said before. Any of these would be good, like even like a kin size, like rounding this out with like a kins would be very good on a build like this, because then you're just doing all of that extra health damage, right? You have your attack speed up a little bit more. So yeah, you can build multiple good things on her. You can also build a little bit of defense at the end if you want. If you're getting blown up a little bit too much, a little bit of defense on the end of a build like this wouldn't be too bad either. You don't really build like crit on her or anything like that. I guess you could, but something I think something like kin size, or even right now with the way her attack speed isn't too high, with this build, you can go executioners and you can do something like heavy executioner, which basic attacks against an enemy reduce your target's physical protections by 17.3% for 3 seconds. Your attack speed can't exceed 1.75, but as you can see, it doesn't exceed that unless you're like ulting anyway. I missed. But you do a lot of protection shred with a build like this, right? Once you do this and you do this, yeah, now my attack speed would be overcapping, right? Because that's what you get. You get 70% attack speed on your ultimate, so that would hamper that. But you could also do something like just the Ferocious Executioner on her. Really good pen build right now. You have a lot of penetration with this. You basically have 10% plus another 10%, 15 on your basics, plus you're getting the 7% max stack of 4 with the Ferocious Executioner, and then your basic attacks are marking the enemy gods, right? So you're able to do this. That god is marked. You're doing extra damage to them with your basics. So builds like this aren't too bad on her. Give it a go. And yeah, that's what I think about Awilix. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it taught you guys something on how to use her abilities, sort of how to combo her, let you kind of understand her 2, her 3, her 1, how to combo them together, what her ultimate did, and then some items to build on her as well. Also, just to let you know, if you do a build like this, like I said, between these 3, you have full cooldown. As you can see, we have 40%. So going something like Bumba's, getting that 10% cooldown, now you're like over capped on it. So unless you're using it for like the true damage and you're gonna forgo something like one of these items, you could actually instead do the Eye of the Jungle start and just get more attack speed and do something like Protector of the Jungle. So now you have 1.9% attack speed, much faster attack speed with something like this. You can even upgrade something like Jotun's Cunning here. If you don't want to do the Ferocious Axe, you can upgrade to one of these for Jotuns if you want to try and get it early. This one's going to just give your non-ultimate abilities cooldown instantly, or 25% of its cooldown instantly once you get like the stacks on it. So it'll enable you to feather step like a lot more sometimes. And then this is obviously just lifesteal once you drop below a certain percentage. So either of these would be okay on her as well. If you're not going to do the Ferocious Executioner, or if you don't want to wait to get it and get that upgrade for it. So yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys haven't already, like and subscribe the video. Hit the notification bell because I'm going to be coming out with a guide for every single god in the game. I just finished the A's. Awilix is the last one of the A's. Now we're on to the B's, and we'll basically be going until I finish it all the way down to the Z's, right? Zeus all the way down there at the bottom. So we also have another video where we explain items and builds and relics and consumables. So that's like a long 2-hour, 40-minute video. If you want to check that out, go ahead, listen to it as a podcast. We put chapters in it as well, so you can jump to each one that you want in case you just wanted to do like a quick like 6-minute thing on a starter item that you wanted to see. And in the future, we're going to be doing a full item build, and we're going to go through all of these items, all of their trees, and explain one by one what they do, how to synergize them. So stay tuned for that one as well. It'll probably be another long video, but we're going through every item in Smite, and we're going to just explain what it does, how to build it, why you would build it, what sort of scenarios, what sort of gods it's good on, what gods utilize it well, etc. Right? Stay tuned for that as well. Also, if you guys want to join our Discord, we run a Discord server called the Smite Dojo. We teach people how to play Smite. We are very new player friendly, so feel free to join us. We teach people how to play Conquest. We know a lot of people that have been playing for years. They've never played Conquest before, so it's a very safe environment just to learn these things, to learn new game modes, to learn new gods. We like playing in a serious fashion. We also like playing and building meme builds. Feel free to join and play Assault, Joust, Arena, do meme builds with each other, right? It's a very non-toxic place where it doesn't matter if you're bad or, you know, if you're just having fun, right? We just want to enjoy the game, play it. We like playing Smite, and we don't want to flame on each other. So that's the whole goal of our server. Anybody's welcome to join. And yeah, it's just like a nice, safe place to play Smite, enjoy the game. You know, we've all been there before where we were just starting to learn out the game and we weren't the best. And even if we're good on like one god, it doesn't mean you're good on every god, right? So if you wanted to try something out, step out of your comfort zone, that's the place to do it. The link to that Discord is in the description below. Click on it. I hope to see you there. And yeah, until next time, everybody, thank you very much. Have a great day.